This is Unit 3, Section 1, Day 2. We are still in Section 4.2 from the textbook. So today we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials. So to multiply polynomials, we're going to focus on two at a time and multiply every term in the first polynomial by every term in the second. So here's our first problem. I have the polynomial x squared plus 7 times the polynomial x minus 10. So this is basically using the distributive property. I'm going to distribute or multiply x squared by x, and x squared times x is x to the third. And then I'm going to take x squared and I'm going to multiply it by negative 10. So that's minus 10x squared. Then I'm going to take my positive 7 and I'm going to distribute it. So we get plus 7x, distribute it, minus 70. If I had any like terms at this point, I would combine them, but since there are none, that's my answer. So let's look at another one, but this one now has different variables. That doesn't change anything for us. We're still going to take the 3x and we're going to multiply it by both parts. So 3x times 4x, we'll do 3 times 4 is 12, and x times x is x squared. 3x times 7y, so the 3 times 7 is plus 21, and then x times y just stays as x times y. So now we're going to take the 2y and distribute it. So 2y times 7y, 2 times 7 is 14. Oh, I think I jumped a step there. Let me go back for a second. 2y times 4x. So we get 2 times 4 is 8. Y times x is still xy. If I wrote it as yx, that's not going to change anything, right? Multiplication can happen in any order. And then now the 2y times 7y. 2 times 7 is 14, and y times y is y squared. So what we have here is we do have two different terms that both have x times y in them. So those two get to be combined. The 12x squared is going to stay 12x squared. 21 plus 8 is really 29, and I keep xy plus 14y squared. And that is my answer for that problem. So you go ahead and try this one, pause it, and I'll show the answer. All right, so that should be your answer for that problem. It's also possible to multiply more than two polynomials at a time. So you're going to start by picking 2 to multiply, and then multiply that answer by your third one. I'm going to start at the end. I'm going to multiply these two just so the smallest one remains in front. So when I multiply here, we're going to bring down the x minus 5. And now I'm going to keep this one in a set of parentheses. So we have x times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. 2 times x is plus 2x. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. I'm simplifying this before I multiply. I want as few terms that I have to multiply as possible. So this is going to become x squared minus x minus 6. All right, and this isn't as bad to work with now as that looked. So we're going to take, let's get rid of that. We're going to take the x and distribute it to all 3 parts first. So x times x squared is x to the third. X times negative x is negative x squared. And x times negative 6 is negative 6x. And now we're going to take the negative 5 and we're going to distribute it. And what I do, you can keep writing it here, but I like to line them up. Negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. So I'm going to put that under my other x squared. Then negative 5 times negative x is plus 5x. Again, I'm lining up the common terms. Then negative 5 times negative 6 is plus 30. So now all I have to do is add them. X cubed, that's negative 6x squared, that's minus x plus 30. And that's my answer for that problem. So you go ahead and try the next one, pause it, and I'll show the answer. All right, so that's the answer we should have gotten for that one. This is the same as the others, it's just now there's 3 things in both. So that means I'm going to take this 2x squared, and I'm going to distribute it to all 3. So 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the 4th, right? 2 plus 2 is 4. 2x squared times 5x, 2 times 5 is 10. X squared times x is x to the 3rd. 2x squared times negative 7, so 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. X squared. Now I'm going to take the 3x and distribute it to all 3 parts. So negative 3x times x squared is negative 3x to the 3rd. Negative 3x times 5x is negative 15x squared. And negative 3x times negative 7 is plus 21x. And then lastly, we're going to take this 4 and distribute it to all 3 parts. So 4 times x squared is a positive 4x squared. 4 times 5x is positive 20x. And 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. So we have 2x to the 4th plus 7x to the 3rd minus 25x squared plus 41x minus 28. And that is our answer. So you go ahead and try this one, pause it, and I'll show the answer. All right, so there's your answer for that one. So now we have some special product patterns, and some of them are more important to know than others. So sum and difference, it's very good to know these, that if you have 2 terms and the same 2 terms, but one was plus and one was minus, we basically eliminate the middle terms, and we just end up with a squared minus b squared. And our example here is x plus 3 times x minus 3. We get x squared and 3 squared, so it's x squared minus 9. The square of a binomial, right, if I had a plus b squared, that's the same as saying a plus b times a plus b, right? We can't just distribute the square. That's not how this works. So what we end up with is a squared plus 2 times the product of the terms plus b squared. And if it was a minus, the only thing that changes is it's a minus 2 times the product. Cube of a binomial we have to know, right? It takes way too much time to multiply 3 when I can go straight to the patterns that they're giving me. So whatever I have in these 2 positions, I start with the first position cubed plus 3 times the first position squared times the second position plus 3 times the first position times the second position squared plus the second position cubed. And if it's a minus in between, we end up alternating signs. So plus minus, plus minus. I would recommend you write out the pattern every time you have a problem where you're cubing something, and that'll make it easier to plug the things in. So let's look at some examples. Right, this is the binomial squared. So this was a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. That's our pattern. And the first position is 2x. So any place I had a, I'm going to plug in 2x. The second position was 7. So I'm going to plug in 7 to anywhere there was a b. And now I can simplify. So this is 4x squared, right? 2 squared and x squared is 4x squared minus 28x plus 49. If you wanted to write it out as 2x minus 7 times 2x minus 7, there's nothing wrong with doing that, right? We would start by doing 4x squared minus 14x minus 14x plus 49. And I combine my negative 14x and negative 14x to get negative 28x. This is the one that we are going to use the pattern for. So this is a plus, which means it was a cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b cubed. So my a value is 3x, right? The first term was 3x, and my b value is 8. So anywhere I had an a, I'm going to plug in 3x, and anywhere I had a b, I'm going to plug in 8. So that's 3x cubed plus 3 times 3x squared times 8 plus 3 times 3x times 8 squared plus 8 to the third. So 3 to the third times x to the third plus, this ends up being 3 times 9x squared times 8. So that's 216x squared, right? 3 times 9 times 8 plus 64 times 3, or 64 times 9, plus 8 to the third, and that's our answer. So you could see showing it this way actually does save you some steps if you use the pattern than if you were to write out 3x plus 8 3 times and do the multiplication. All right, this last one, remember this is the difference, right? Same term, but one's plus, one's minus. So this ends up being a squared minus b squared. So a, or the first term, was 5x, and b, or the second term, was 9. So we're getting 5x squared minus 9 squared, or 25x squared minus 81. So you go ahead and try the last 3. Remember, this first one should be the pattern, and I'll even write that one out. Pause it, and I'll show you the answers. All right, check those answers there. Right, x cubed minus 27x squared plus 243x minus 729. We have x squared minus 100, and x squared plus 10x plus 25. And that is the rest of 4-2.